Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Good Coffee at Home with Tag. Today we're going to cover the two most common brew methods, ones that you will find in probably any home, the CoffeePot and the Keurig. First, we want to talk a little bit about the CoffeePot. Just like we would do with a pour over that uses a paper filter, we're going to rinse our paper filter with hot water. Make sure that you rinse it thoroughly because we want to get rid of any paper taste that might seep through the filter and into our coffee. The next thing that we want to talk about are the numbers that you find on the side of your coffee pot. These do refer to cups, but they don't refer to the standard US 8-ounce cup. The cup is actually going to be around 4 to 5 ounces. So we know that when we fill it up, we usually can get 3 to 4 cups of coffee out of a whole pot. The best thing that you can do is to use a tablespoon scoop to measure out however many cups of coffee you want. And you're going to use 2 to 3 scoops per your cup. So if you're using a scale, that equates to roughly 20 to 25 grams of coffee per your cup, but it really just depends on how big you want your cup to be. To help you out, we're going to put up a little graphic that you can screenshot and use as a reference point when you're brewing your next pot of coffee. Now we're going to talk about the Keurig. This is definitely the most convenient home brewer, and if you don't have one at your house, you probably have one at your office, at your church. Somewhere in your life there's a Keurig. So we're going to teach you how to brew a good pod. First of all, don't do this. Don't leave a pod that has already been brewed in the brewer. Sorry, Levi. But we're going to tell you a good step to help make your coffee taste even better. We want to take a cup or a bowl, anything, and use the smallest setting and just run some hot water through your Keurig. This is going to clean out the old coffee that is in there from the leftover pod that you left in the Keurig. So after we've rinsed out the water, there are a couple things that we can do to make sure our coffee tastes the best coming out of a Keurig. The first thing is to choose the right brew setting. We recommend the 8-ounce setting or the middle one depending on your machine to brew your coffee with. We also recommend using Tag. Our pods are different from other pods because they hold 15 grams of coffee in them as opposed to the normal 7 to 8 grams. This is what an unfilled Tag coffee pod looks like. You can see that the filter goes all the way to the bottom of the pod, allowing it to hold more coffee than normal. This little pod is also 100% recyclable. So again, the best things that you can do are to clean it out, to choose the right settings, and to use Tag. Now we're going to show you why Tag pods really are better. We got a clear coffee mug so that you can see how this coffee comes out. Like we said, it's 15 grams of coffee in there. We're brewing on 8 ounces. And if you've used our pods before, you're going to notice that it takes a little bit longer for them to brew. That is simply because there's more coffee in there for it to brew through. Now, if you want more than 8 ounces of coffee, we recommend doing 2 different pods on the 8-ounce setting. Brewing on a bigger setting doesn't automatically equal more coffee. It's the same amount of coffee in the pod, no matter which setting you brew on. And we have found that the 8-ounce setting is going to give you the most flavor. Now that our coffee has finished brewing with a little bit more time than normal because there's more delicious coffee in there, we're going to throw the pot away, unlike last time. Now we're going to do the step that we tell you in every single video to do: stir your coffee. You'll never forget to stir your coffee again if you've watched enough of our brew method videos. Now we're going to brew a non-tag coffee pod. Remember, these pods hold usually 7 to 8 grams of coffee in them, and we're going to use the same 8-ounce setting. We're going to speed it up, but brewing 7 to 8 grams of coffee as opposed to 15 is going to be a little bit of shorter time. So now that we've brewed the non-tag pod, we're going to stir it also, but you're going to notice a main difference between these two cups. The one on the right is going to be a lot lighter in color than the one on the left. That's because there is more coffee in a tag pod than a normal pod. So of course, you're going to get a stronger cup of coffee. Tag, not tag. Is there really any other convincing to do?